evening to our 2025 Meet the Candidate Forum. Yeah, yay. It's another year of elections. Please, first of all, my name is Jim Morgan. I'm the general manager here at the Colony. And I've done this a few years, 13 I think this is going on. And it's interesting every year, and looking forward to this evening. Please silence your cell phones. If you haven't already, let me check mine. We are silent. Also, this evening's forum will be recorded and streamed live on YouTube. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So unfortunately, every year I get the job of doing the boring part, the housekeeping, and making introductions, and which isn't the boring part, but the ballot stuff. And most of you know the process, but it is necessary to take a few minutes to explain a little bit about what we're doing here and what this election is about and how to go about casting your vote. First of all, the ballot most of you should have received by now. If you have not received it by now, it was mailed out a week ago. And if you haven't, please let us know. We'll make sure you have the contact information for the Inspector of Election where they will get you a ballot so that you can cast your vote. But make sure you make that determination as soon as possible, whether you have it or not, because you do need to mail the ballot in order for it to be counted by the Inspector of Election. So your ballot should look like this. And understand, we do not use cumulative voting. In other words, you can't put, since there are 3 seats, you can't put 3 votes to 1 seat. It's 1 vote per open seat. So you have 3 votes you can cast. You don't have to cast all 3. But you can only give 1 vote for 1 candidate. So if you have more than 3 of these bubbles, if you have 4 bubbles blacked out, your ballot is not going to be valid. So make sure that you take the time to fill out the ballot correctly. After you fill the ballot out, you've got the smaller of the 2 envelopes. And that one is the one you're going to put your ballot in. And notice there's nothing for you to sign or put any marks on that envelope. And that's on purpose so that they don't know who cast the vote. So it's something that for your privacy in how you vote. And then the last is the larger envelope. This is extremely important to fill this out correctly. You'll have your name and address that needs to be put on there, but it's critical that the member of the association in the household signs the outside of this. In order for it to be counted, not only for your ballot to be valid, but just to get quorum, to meet quorum requirements, this needs to be correct. After you've filled that out, you take this envelope that you've sealed the envelope inside of, put it in this larger, seal it, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mail. And it should arrive. USPS is really fast with their mail these days. It should be there before the election. My point being, and kidding aside, is if after tonight, when you've decided the candidate you wish to cast your votes for, the 3, it would be wise to get it in the mail as soon as possible. to assure that it's received by the Inspector of Election. Also, do not bring your ballots to the clubhouse. We do not accept them here. And unfortunately, we don't have the mailbox out here anymore either. We're working on getting it back. The USPS is reluctant to do so, but we're trying to get it back. So we can't accept them here. We can't interfere with the process. So make sure you get it to a postal annex or a postal office when you want to mail your ballot in. The latest they can be received by is, and I really don't recommend you take this long to get it there, but if you were willing to drive your ballot to the Inspector of Election office, you can take up until 1 p.m. the day of the election, which is September 25th. I don't recommend you do that, but you can get, if you can get it there by 1 o'clock, it would still be counted. Take into consideration the timing it takes to mail as well when you're going to go about mailing it. So I do want to take a moment now to introduce those that are helping and assisting us this evening. We have our timekeepers and our sign-in table. Elizabeth Pounds in the back was greeting you all and signing the members in. We've got Kimberly Evans and Katie Bouchard and Cindy Irving on our timekeeper table. They're going to have the signs up and they're going to be waving them. We also have our inspectors of election. They are not here tonight, but they are the official inspector of election for this election, as they have been in the past as well. Any discrepancies or issues with ballots and things of that nature, or questions that might come up during the voting process, they are the official word as to whether it meets with law or if a ballot is going to be valid or not. We have our question review panel: Jerry Stein, Doris Zeif, and Esther Velazquez. They met yesterday to review several questions that were received via email through the e-blast, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I also want to give a shout out to our production and technology committee for the fine job they're doing with this presentation, filming, the recording and broadcasting of tonight's forum. Thank you for that. You may have seen just a few minutes ago, I was speaking with our candidates here. They were drawing numbers to determine the order in which they are going to give their candidacy statements. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to present their statement. The timekeepers will hold up the sign at the 1 minute remaining mark, the 30 seconds remaining mark, and at the 5 minute remaining mark, a thank you sign will be held up, and they will be asked to end their remarks. As mentioned, questions, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but the questions that are going to be asked this evening all have to be received in writing. So if there is a question that you wanted to submit this evening, it has to be in writing. Nobody is going to stand up and ask an audible question in order for proper decorum. We make sure that the questions are appropriate for all candidates. So they do need to go through the review process before the question is asked. So if we allowed you to just come up to the mic and ask a question, there may be questions that are directed at a specific candidate or it's not applicable, that would be difficult for somebody not serving on the board to answer by way of a decision the board made. Why did you make that decision? Well, somebody that hasn't served on the board couldn't answer a question like that. So we're trying to make this the most fair and equitable platform for our candidates so that you get the best view of what each candidate might bring to the table in serving on the board. So when the question and answer portion starts, the questions are going to be rotation through each candidate. So when the first question comes up, it will begin with Michael Fisher. We'll start, and it will go through all 5 candidates. The second question will start with Glenn Gerber and go through and end with Michael Fisher, and we'll keep rotating that way until all the questions have been asked. Currently, we have 15 questions, which are 3 full rounds, and in years past, that's pretty much got us to pretty close to the 7 o'clock mark. So we don't anticipate any additional questions will be accepted, and even if there was a little extra time, we want there to be 5 questions if there are additional questions, so everyone has the opportunity again to answer the question first. And so that's a fair, again, platform for each of the candidates. Again, as mentioned, there will be no audible questions. We ask that if you hear something from one of the candidates that you feel you need to say something about, we ask that you refrain from doing that, and to keep the decorum of the meeting intact and so that the meeting flows well. So I do want to take, the last thing I want to do here is read the code of conduct for this evening. The association appreciates the candidates and your participation in this year's forum. In an effort to maintain proper decorum, we respectfully ask that all in attendance be courteous to the individual candidates and your fellow homeowners who have come to this meeting to be informed. Furthermore, audible verbal questions and/or statements from the audience, as well as other disruptive behavior, will not be allowed. Anyone who creates a disturbance will be asked to leave the meeting. Appreciate your consideration of that. With that being said, I'm going to turn the time over to our moderator this evening, is representative of our EPC committee, Michael Nunez, and he is going to take it from here and introduce our candidates and get the ball rolling with hearing the statements. So thank you very much, and here's Mr. Nunez.
Thank you, Jim. First of all, good evening to everyone who made the trip here. Really appreciate it. To the candidates, thank you for being here, and thank you for running for the board. I'm going to introduce the candidates at this time. First, Michael Fisher. Michael, will you come up and go ahead and give your statement, please?
So, you want to just introduce all 5?
Okay. Okay, I'll introduce all 5, and then you can come up. Okay. Second, we have Glenn Gerber. Next, we have Pat Kite. Next, Bob Miller. And next, Pam Vliss. Michael, will you come on up and give your statement, please?
Thank you, Michael. Thank all of you for coming tonight to listen to the candidates for the board. All of you that are viewing it online, I appreciate it and thank you. My name is Michael Fisher. I'm a homeowner here for 2 years at the Colony, living on Via Tenata with my lovely, precious wife, Jerry Gray. I'm seeking a seat on the HOA Board of Directors. Honest, integrity, and organizational skills are what I can bring to the board. I have had training in meeting protocols. I'm a member of the Access Control Committee, and I also am a member and involved in the Actors Studio. I see the glass half full, but a realist. I work well with the team to achieve tasks and goals. I am a detailed type person who asks questions to receive needed answers before making major decisions. I'm an independent thinker who weighs all of the facts. I am a problem solver. I'm a candidate with a fresh perspective. I have over 50+ years in business executive management within the retail, shopping center, and commercial real estate industries, both domestic and international, before retiring 12 years ago and moving from Arizona to Murrieta, California. For the last 12 years, I've been an active member of the community, volunteering in all aspects. I have been a city planning commissioner. I've been the chair of the planning commission, in addition to working with the city's economic development group. I've been a member of the board of directors of the Murrieta-Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. I was voted by the community as Chamber Member of the Year. I have also had professional training for boards and commission positions. I was a SCORE volunteer mentoring small business owners and was elected as the SCORE Mentor of the Year for the entire region. My hope as an HOA board member is to make sure we work as a team to benefit our homeowners and increase property values. I want to thank you for the opportunity and would appreciate your vote. I am very excited about the possibility of helping all of our board members to the success we all want as homeowners. We want our property values to improve and increase, and we want to make sure that we have all the right monies to do so. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please vote.
Thank you very much. At this time, Mr. Glenn Gerber. Okay. Bob Miller.
Are we good? All right. Greetings, I'm Bob Miller. I want to thank those who are attending here in the auditorium and those listening to us at home. I hope this will be very informative for you. My wife Jan and I have lived in the Colony for 8 years, moving here from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We have truly enjoyed the Colony and what it has to offer. We have formed some great, lasting friendships. We appreciate the facilities. We eagerly anticipate the new pavilion with its additions. The diverse activities, clubs, and entertainment are first rate for those who want to participate. I'm a native Southern Californian, having grown up in the South Bay beaches of Los Angeles County. Even though this was a fantastic place to live, I decided to go east for my education. I graduated with a degree in history from a small liberal arts school called Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. I returned home and earned a master's degree in education from Southern Cal. I wanted to be a teacher. I returned to Virginia, but wasn't able to get a teaching position. I found out that most of the positions were filled by the athletic coaches, and all I could do was play beach volleyball and surf, so I couldn't go anywhere with that one. Anyway, since I could not get a job, as an idealistic child of the 60s, I decided to start my career with helping my fellow human beings. I enrolled in the Peace Corps and was sent to Thailand as a TEFL instructor. That's teaching English as a foreign language. During my time in the Peace Corps, I learned how to adapt to situations that were completely foreign to me. No pun intended, but that's what it was. After my assignment ended, I returned to Virginia and got a job in the local welfare department and child welfare division. I learned the importance of making decisions because it was up to me to make a recommendation to the judge if a child should be removed from their home. It's not an easy decision. I subsequently went to work for the Department of Rehabilitative Services for 8 years, where I met my wife, Jan. I decided that I did not want to be a bureaucrat, so I elected to enter the private sector. I decided on health administration and earned a master's degree at Virginia Commonwealth University, the Medical College of Virginia. I chose, usually that degree puts you in a hospital, but I chose to be in a large multi-specialty clinic. I was able to get an internship there and luckily secure a position upon my graduation. Jan and I married while I was in school, so luckily where I got to work is where we lived, so that all worked out. My position was Vice President of Medical Services, which was basically the Chief Operating Officer. This practice had 120 physicians plus extenders, which are PAs and NPs. After 10 years, I decided to downsize to a 50-physician practice. I got tired of so many doctors coming after me. Working with physicians taught me the art of compromise, to be thick-skinned, sticking to my guns in the face of intimidation, the ability to diffuse hostile speculations, situations, and interpreting of federal and state regulations. After 20-odd years of working with physicians, I decided to use my education degree, which I had, and I was hired by a local community college to start their medical assistant curriculum. After that, I went on to work in their medical administration department. After all that, I decided to hang it up and retire. The one thing I did learn, though, from teaching was that I became unfazed by simple situations, such as a student coming up to me and says, "Oh, my dog ate my homework." Didn't work. So we moved to, we retired to Myrtle Beach, and Jan endured it for 5 years, and then she told me, "We're moving to California." So, we moved to California to be with our daughter, who, by the way, has moved. Daddy Addies, don't follow your children. We did. But we have enjoyed being here. And the clubs I've been in and associated with are the Architectural Control Committee. I'm a secretary to the Landscape Advisory Committee, Access Control and Safety, Financial Advisory. I'm a block captain with the EPC. Just joined the Roadrunners. They're a great bunch of people. We don't camp, we glamp. Just want to clear that up. And also, I've been a past member of the board member of the Men's Golf Club and a past member of the Jack and Jill Golf Tournament. And I want to emphasize this. I'm Secretary of the Finance Committee. As Secretary of the Finance Committee, we do a deep dive into our financials each month. We are in good financial shape. All right? We pay our bills. We have $1 million in our equity fund. We have over $4 million in our reserves. We are fine financially. So just want to make that clear, all right? We do want to make, though, the financial goals, the financial standards. We want to get our equity up, and we want to get our board up. So anyway, that's my experience. That's my thing, and I thank you very much for having me, for listening to me.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have Glenn Gerber.
Thank you. My name is Glenn Gerber. My wife Judy and I have lived in the colony for 6 years, and we love it here. We're both from St. Louis, Missouri. I met Judy when she was 15 years old, and I was 16 years old, and I've been with her ever since, so I count myself very fortunate. My colony involvement started shortly after I moved here. I joined the Access and Control Committee, and I was with that for about 18 months, and then I became chairman of that committee, which is what I'm doing today. So presently, I'm chairman of the Access and Control Committee. I'm a member of the Wine Club, the Roadrunners Club. I play golf once a week with some friends, and we attend most of our colony functions. And one thing I'm very proud of, I'm a member of the Colony Garage Band, and I saw some of you out there dancing Saturday, so thank you for supporting us. My experience, I've had an interesting and enjoyable career. It's mainly in educational administration, but I've also been a financial consultant with Thrivent Financial. I've been principal of 4 schools and superintendent of 25 schools. And through a couple of these experiences, I've learned some good lessons that I think would transfer well for me to be a good board member. I became a principal when I was 29 years old, so that was my first introduction to being on a board. And I have since been on the boards of other things for 35 years. So I've had 35 years of experience in being a board member. I know how they function. I know how to be a proactive member. And I know the ins and outs and all the details of serving on a board. The other place I was in Hong Kong International School. We lived in Hong Kong, China for a while, where I was principal of a school. That school had students from 52 countries. So I worked with people with different cultures, different religions, different educational styles, different political views. I had big swings in political views because I had students that sat side by side and their countries hated each other for centuries. So I had to bring everyone together for one school family. I had to get consensus and resolve problems with this diverse group of people. When I was a superintendent, that was mainly, of the 25 schools, that was mainly putting out fires between principals and school boards. And what I learned there is sometimes there is not common ground. Everybody says there's common ground. But sometimes somebody's wrong and somebody's right. And I had to be strong enough to tell the principal or the school board when they were out of line. And I had to do that. That was my job. It's the same here in the colony. Not everyone who has an idea of how the colony should work has the best interests of the colony in mind. Everyone has a right to be heard, but not everyone has a right to get their own way. Some important issues. In preparing for this candidates evening, I was talking to a lot of people, a lot of you, and I asked them questions. What would you want me to know if I was on the board? Of course, number one is golf course, and everybody's frustrated because we don't have it. We have to get it. Once we get it, there are so many things in place, it's going to be beautiful. The other one that surprised me, everybody that I talked to wanted the restaurant. So I think that's moved up on my list. Safety and security was an issue, and the front gate backup, and then building maintenance. Any decision I make on the board is going to run through 4 filters: property values, quality of life, safety and security, and fiscal responsibility. In conclusion, everybody likes to hear that. If elected, I promise I will be accessible and open with all of you. Other than legal issues or confidentiality with other residents, what I know, you will know. Many of you know me, and you know I have no hidden agenda. I just want to serve you on the HOA board. I will be your eyes and your ears as to what is going on in the community now and into the future. I will be clear and concise with you. My background required me to get things done, to get consensus, and to solve problems. I have the experience and I have the skill to be a productive board member for you. I will work for you. I would like to leave you with a quote from a fellow St. Louisan and philosopher. His name is Yogi Berra. And he says, this is quoting Yogi, "When you come to the fork in the road, take it." And that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like I need to take it. I need to take this next step to serve you on the board. Thank you for listening to me, and God bless you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Pat Kite.
Hard enough just getting up here. So, hey everybody, good to see you. And I just want to say thanks for your support over the last 3 years. It's been a pleasure sometimes, but certainly an honor to have served on this board and represented you. With the fine people on our board, and you can look at my resume and see all the boards and commissions and city councils that I've served on. This is without question one of the hardest working, honest group of people I've ever served with, and I just appreciate them. And I think the work we've done over the last several years has been stellar. I'm proud of that. But I think the reason we're here tonight is to separate ourselves and talk about the difference between the candidates and why I think I should be reelected and others shouldn't. You've got some great choices tonight. But for 3 years, the board has been the target of Pam Bliss and her venom, and that's been going on for a long time. And as a result, that makes me personally a target. And I think it's time I respond to that because it's just not fair to me and to my colleagues. I think when you look at my resume out there, I've been as transparent as I can to talk. Everything I've listed, you can Google, you can make a phone call, and find out if I'm telling the truth. Some people don't follow through with those types of things. Pam hosts an email site that she says people are welcome on there as long as they're honest and civil. Yesterday, an email from one of her people, Jeanette Parker, writes, Pat Kite needs to voluntarily withdraw his candidacy for re-election or be removed. There are many reasons he needs to withdraw or be removed and not be allowed to be a board member representing the colony. But one in particular is he's untrustworthy. He said that he intends to illegally violate CC&Rs, denying the rights of homeowners to vote on projects that exceed 5%. He lies and he's untrustworthy. Really? Really? A comment that Pam had made says, if a person cannot cite specifics and continues broad, unsubstantiated statements to merely divide our community in what could be looked upon as a hateful act, they should be held responsible. Has Jeanette been held responsible? I don't think so. It's not your turn, Pam. So, folks, I know I'm preaching to the choir for most of you, but I just had to get that off my chest. It's not fair to Greg, to Bruce, to Kathy, Dell, the whole board. It's just been unfair for all these years. And it's not just this board. It's been every single board since she moved here. She's been negative on everything. Half-truths, innuendos, and it's just not fair. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of that. I just wanted to, please, I appreciate your support. I love this community. I'll continue to work my butt off to make it better, and I ask for your vote tonight. So, thanks.
Okay, at this time, Pam Bliss.
Hello, everyone. First off, I want to apologize for wearing the sunglasses, but again, these lights kind of trigger migraines for me, and the last time when I was up here, I barely made it down the stairs because it had triggered an aura and I couldn't see. So forgive me. So, everybody, what do you like about living here in the colony? You know, there are a lot of different answers because we are a community of people from many different backgrounds from across the country. But there's one thing that we all have in common here in the colony, and that is paying monthly dues to have a beautiful and secure community. The real issues that we, all of us, face as homeowners of a retirement community that has a homeowners association board are, quite frankly, how our money is spent and how our HOA dues are raised. We have some very real issues to manage here, and how prepared are we to meet those issues? And how carefully and thoughtfully is our money being spent? Because that is what is important. Many of us are retired, with some living on fixed incomes, so there are few of us who can endure the hardship that high HOA fees can create, or even impact the value and our ability to sell our homes. While that does not mean we should never spend money, it does mean we should be thoughtful about it and keep in mind that everyone who lives here has a financial stake in how the community is maintained, how our dues are spent, and even how our dues are raised. We are also, all of us, entitled to transparency. Or else how can we know if our dues are being spent wisely? And if increases to our dues are truly warranted for the positive upkeep of our community? Or how our dues will be impacted by the potential financial expenses of the golf course that are looming in the future? Article 20 obligates us, all of us, to financially fund the LLC and support the golf course should it fall short. So what does that mean to our dues? Many of us may not even know or pay any attention to any of this. But mind you, we all of us, are impacted every single time a decision is made to spend our money. Remember, every penny spent to maintain our wonderful community is your money, and that is truly what does matter. Some people may say that I am too critical, and some may say the board shouldn't change direction because who knows what would happen if it did. But sometimes we, all of us here, need a change so our community benefits from a different perspective, new eyes, and new skills and experiences. To ensure that everyone who lives here is represented by people who make sure how our money is spent is thoughtful, careful, and appropriate for our community. Now more than ever, our community will be faced with some big challenges that we need to prepare for today. If elected, I would be just one member of the board, but I would bring the new perspective that focuses on what we, all of us, need to have happen. And that's what I have outlined in my plan of priorities to ensure the thoughtful and careful expenditure of our dues to maintain and enhance our community that we all enjoy and like living in, as well as prepare for the future while keeping HOA dues stable with the intent to avoid the burden of rising HOA fees that many of us may not be able to afford as we all age in place, God willing. I thank you for listening and for giving my ideas your consideration. And I invite you to take one of my flyers where my plan has been detailed and outlined. And so far, I think that's the only plan you've heard tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go to the question and answer section of our meeting. What we'll do is the first question will be asked, and then we will go from that person to the next person and so forth until everyone answers that question. Then we'll go to the second question, and the next person will be the first person to answer the question. First question is a two-part question. What do you believe are the responsibilities of a board member? And why do you believe you are qualified to serve on the board? Michael?
Michael, thank you for the question. I believe personally that the responsibility of a board member is to act in favor of the people they represent, which is our homeowners. I think our homeowners deserve someone who can increase value in the property, take care of business that needs to be taken care of, not be a yes person, and to really give a point of view to the homeowners. I also believe that you must listen. Listening is better than talking. And sometimes listening, you can get what the needs are of our homeowners and react to the board responsibly. And the second part of your question was?
Why do you believe you are qualified to serve on the board?
I think that you can look at my resume, and most of you have already looked at it in the August magazine, as well as it's on the back of my flyer in the foyer. I believe that I am a person who has experience in property management, property redevelopment, renovation and construction. I have also revenue and profit generation, management of CAM and CapEx expenses, and public relations through marketing, media trained by experts in New York. I also have a financial administration budget preparation background. I have relationship building with our homeowners. I want to make sure that I listen to their needs and convey those to the other members of the board. I'm only going to be one member of the board, but I have to bring the homeowners' needs to that board. I am a strategic business planner, and I have had experience in facility, security, and safety administration, empowerment, and team management leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Glenn?
I certainly agree with Michael about listening. A board member has a very important responsibility because we're one person. The board has 7 people voting, but those 7 people are representing 1,586 homes. So what you think, I have to vote for. So it's very important that I listen to what you say. I was supposed to say this in my opening statement, but I go by the adage, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So that's because I need to listen to you and talk less. And so that's what I would do with the board. I would listen, and I know that I work for you, and that's how I would always want to hear what you have to say, and that's how I would vote.
Pat?
First and foremost, I think we have a responsibility to maintain our financial stability, and I think we've done a very good job of that. We also are tasked with enforcing our CC&Rs, the rules and regulations. My personal belief is one of the things that we do as a board is we set an agenda and set Jim Morgan, our general manager, and his staff, their responsibility to implement that. So I don't see us as being into the minutia, more of a macro type of situation, because we have an incredible staff, contrary to what some people may think. We have a great staff that just does a stellar job. So once we give them guidance, they implement it and they do a good job. Why am I capable of doing that? Well, that's what I've done all my life on every board and city council that I've ever been on. I listen. We debate. We don't always agree. But at the end of the day, if it's a 4-3, 5-2, 6-1, and I'm on the losing end, we walk out united as one board. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Bob?
All right, whoops. Responsibility of the board members. I think they need to find the facts out before anything else, before they make decisions. I think they must be an advocate for the resident. I think they also must communicate with the residents. I think that's the one issue we're having, that I have right now, is the communication issues with the residents. I'm going to, hopefully, if I get on, I'll be able to understand why there is the issues there are. I'm sure there are reasons, but also listening. I'm a listener. You'll see me, if you know me in the meetings, I sit and listen a lot. I don't like to mouth off. I just like to listen and take notes, and then if I have to say something, I'll say it. So I think listening is very important for a board member. Why am I qualified? I think I mentioned it in my opening statement, that a lot of the positions I had, the things I learned, I went over. You know, being able to be thick-skinned, make decisions, crisis management, handling a lot of the, how can I say it, the difficult patient. I was always on doing the patients. They always complained to me because I was the operations guy. So I handled all the patient complaints in that. So I'm qualified, I believe, in all those things with the physician practices and make hard decisions. You know, you try and decide if a little child is going to stay in the parent's house or not. That ain't easy, but I had to make that decision, and I did. Also, I think I'm qualified because of all the work I've been doing with the clinic, not the clinic, that's the one, and the colony. Committees I've been on, the secretarial function. I know what goes on in those committee meetings because I do the minutes. I just don't walk away and then come back to the next meeting. I'm there. I make the minutes. I know what's going on. I feel I'm qualified for that. I know I'm involved in the colony.
Pam?
Okay. First responsibility, of course, the most important responsibility is the financial responsibility. And that goes beyond just dollars in the bank. That goes into contract negotiations, management of contracts, things of that nature, bank accounts, reserves, everything. That is the primary responsibility of the board of directors, is to properly manage the community so that the homeowners here receive value for their dues that they pay every month, and their property values increase and not decline. How I am qualified for this is that I had profit and loss responsibility for a $100 million electronic manufacturer. That involved everything. Things that I see here is what troubles me. And I don't think that we are financially stable because we don't know the numbers. Transparency is a huge, huge issue here. And I don't think that we really need to ask all the questions that we are if they were so transparent. So this is what my whole deal is, to serve the community, not my own agenda.
Thank you. Before we go on, just have a quick statement.
I don't know if you noticed, but you got extra time on that first question. But I will say that first question was two parts, so it was probably good that we made that error. I let everybody know that's involved about the limit of 1 minute to answer the questions. I told everybody but the timekeepers. They're the only ones I left out of the loop. So they were going with 2 minutes. So, I see them fine. So if we move them closer, would that help?
No, it's fine.
But my question is,
You don't get to ask questions.
well, what are you going to hold up? You're holding up a minute after a minute? Or are you gonna
Cindy's out of the loop now.
So Cindy should not.
So it's only going to be the 30 seconds and the
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
So you have 1 minute.
You're holding up a minute.
Cindy's just going to observe.
All right. So it'll be 30 seconds and thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for indulging us for a moment there, just to make that quick clear. So it'll be 1 minute going forward for the remainder of the questions to answer. And we'll wave extra high the sign. So if you see somebody waving like this, that means you're at the 30-second mark. All right. Thank you.
Watch for the wave.
Okay. Second question. Have you served on any board-sanctioned advisory committees? If so, please name the committees, and explain what experience you gained that might assist the board. And we're going to start with Glenn.
Are you talking about colony committees, or what are you talking about?
Board-sanctioned, colony committees.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I serve on the Access and Control Committee, and I've done that for 3 years as the chairman, and before that I was a member. We've done a lot of work with the front gates. We've had a special subcommittee. We've been working for 8 months or more to try to alleviate the backup at the front gate. We've visited Canyon Lakes. We've visited other people. So that's what I've been doing on the Access Control and Safety Committee. The reason I can do that, I have a lot of experiences on boards and committees. I love chairing the committee. I have a good committee. We make sure we have good people on our committee. So that's what I've been doing for board-sanctioned committees, other than the Colony Garage Band. That's all I got.
Okay, Pat.
Board-sanctioned, I'm a board, so I'm sanctioned. But as such, I serve as a liaison to Glenn's committee, and I'll vouch for him. He does a great job as a chairperson, and Michael and Bob work on that committee too. They do a good job. So I serve as liaison to the PTAC committee, my favorite, the Violations Committee. That'd get you a lot of votes. And every meeting I go to, 30 seconds. Every meeting I go to, I learn something from these guys. It's like it's been said before, if you just sit and listen, I don't learn anything when I talk. I learn when I listen to these guys. We got some bright people up here, guys. You can't go wrong, so thanks.
Pam?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
Ah, damn.
You skipped you?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Have you served on any board-sanctioned advisory committees? If so, please name the committees, and explain what experience you gained that might assist the board.
Okay. All right. Advisory committees, the architectural committee is not an advisory committee. We make decisions. So the advisory committees I've been on are the finance, the landscape, and the security committee. Those are my sanctioned advisory ones. I've learned to, I take the minutes. I know what's going on. Like I said earlier, I know what's going on in those committees. I know what's going on, how it affects the colony. That helps me, I think, in becoming a board member, knowing that background, knowing what's going on in those committees. I will say the architectural committee, we make the decisions, and that helps. Even though we're not sanctioned advisory, we do make the decisions, and that's what helps in the board. You got to make decisions. People may not like them, but you make them. And boy, people don't like us on the architectural committee because we ask you to paint your houses. So anyway, that's how I feel my committees have helped, and I did. Thank you.
Pam.
Okay, now me. I do I'm on the Sunshine Committee to welcome new residents into the neighborhood. As far as advisory committees, no, I'm not on any advisory committee because it doesn't seem like there's ever an announcement that the board is seeking people to volunteer on an advisory committee. It just seems like all of a sudden an advisory committee appears. So that's a problem. I think that one of the things that I do is supply the homeowners with information and documentation that I believe the board should be doing But unfortunately, they have refused and denied us access, like the golf course litigation documents that updates us, and the golf course receivers reports that informs us on how financially the golf course has been doing.
Thank you. Michael?
I've been a member of the Access Control and Safety Committee, along with some fellow candidates. I'm also involved in the Actors Studio. Why haven't I been on more committees? Well, at the beginning of this year, I was off of the Planning Commission for the city of Murrieta, so I had time. But the other thing was, I met a beautiful woman when I was in high school, and we just got married in December. And she is the love of my life, and we reconnected after 40-some years. So I was busy. What have I learned? I've learned how to say yes, ma'am. No, what I've learned is to listen, to understand the issue, and get a resolution to any of the issues. I think on the Actors Studio, it has given me confidence. It's given me the ability to speak. It's been given me the ability to interact with a lot of people. Thank you.
Next question. We'll go with you, Pat. How will you help to improve the effectiveness of our existing board? How will you help to improve the effectiveness of our existing board?
How would I improve the effectiveness of the existing board?
Yeah, the effectiveness of our existing board.
I think our existing board is damn effective. That's it. I'm done.
Thanks.
Bob?
All right. I'm not on the board. I don't want to assume that I know how the board acts, how they interact. You know, we see that here when they're open. I don't feel I have enough information to address that question. I'm sorry, but I just, you need to be on the inside to see how something is operating. And I'm not in that position yet. So I need to, abstain or whatever, wait until I get in there and see that I can, see if I can help in the effectiveness of it.
Pam?
Okay, I'm not here to tear down the current board at all. But what I do believe is that my flyer, where I have outlined my plan, will give you a good idea of the areas that I feel that have been lacking. And those are areas that I feel need attention because they are critical to the future of this community. Other than that, like I said, I think that there should be more transparency. I think that we should have more access. But most importantly, I hear a lot of people say, well, gee, we need to listen, we need to listen. Well, if we need to listen, then why are we silencing the voices by putting up barriers for the homeowners to make comments that other homeowners can see? Why aren't HOA homeowners' questions that are asked in board meetings published in the newsletter?
Michael?
I am not on the board here in the colony yet, but I believe my background and my experiences can help my colleagues really improve communications directly to you, our homeowners. I think we're owed that, and I think we need more of it, and that's how I can be more effective.
As I said in my opening statement, I have 35 years of being on boards. I don't know this boards, so I don't know. I'm assuming they do what they're supposed to do. I've always been happy with them. But sometimes boards can get off track. A good board member makes sure the board stays on track, doesn't get caught in the weeds, doesn't get caught in the minutia of all the things that are going on. So if I was a board member, I would make sure the board stays on track for our topic That's how I operate when I'm on a board.
Thank you. Question number 4. There are times that the board is faced with conflict. Generally speaking, what is your typical way of dealing with conflict? Bob?
Again, what is my typical way of dealing with conflict?
Yes.
Okay. Conflict to me that's what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. To me, it's disagreements. I don't want to say conflict. To me, we need how do you handle disagreements? You got to sit the parties down, find out the facts, but you also have to, both the parties have to want to, solve the issue. I don't know if that's, doable here, but you need facts, listen, get the, have each of them present themselves, communicate to them, with them, make sure people are not talking at each other, they're listening to each other. I think that's the biggest thing. People get upset, they talk at each other, they don't listen. So I think that to solve conflict, you need to sit down, listen, communicate, and hopefully find the solution. But that's how I deal with conflict. I'll be blunt, I don't know if we can handle the conflict here. I don't think people want to solve things. What's going on here?
Pam?
Yes. A lot of conflicts stem from people don't feel like they're being heard. So you need to have a mediator, someone who is not biased one side or the other, that makes each side feel like they have been heard. And then you try to find the common thread, that's something that everyone can agree upon, and build out from there.
Michael?
Faced with conflicts, I think you have to sit down and listen to all the parties involved. Gather the facts and help give guidance to both parties to get some kind of unity amongst them.
Glenn?
I agree. On conflicts, you have to find the facts, check for personal differences, check if there's a personal agenda from someone, then try to listen to both sides, and then make a decision. Don't drag it out. In a board and an organization this big, sometimes feelings get hurt. That happens. Make a decision and move on.
Pat?
Excuse me. Yeah, I heard one time that a healthy relationship is one that's in constant conflict resolution. And I think there's some truth to that. To resolve conflicts, first of all, I think you need to find a safe environment where those that are in conflict have a safe environment where they can allowed to be wrong or allowed to be right, but it's a safe. And at the end of the day, that conflict may not be resolved at all. It may be what it is. But I think all you can do is create an environment in which the parties can come together and try to resolve it. At the end of the day, again, it may not be resolvable.
Okay, this is a two-part question. What is it that you like most about the colony? What do you like least about the colony? Pam?
Okay, what do I like most about the colony? Well, I have some great neighbors, and I've met some truly wonderful people here. So I like the camaraderie that I have been able to establish. What I like least about the colony can be a little bit cliquish. And people can be torn down because they have different opinions. Come on. We're all of an age where we should leave that stuff behind us. And the important things that matter are honesty, trust, and just being a good neighbor. And I think that there are a lot of good neighbors here in the colony, and that's what I really cherish. And that's what I want to protect, because I want the future to be bright for everybody.
Michael?
What I most like about the colony is the people. There are some great people here who have done great things and continue to do great things. We have a lot of new residents moving into the colony. We need to understand the diversity of them. We also need to listen to them. I like the activities of the colony. This is the most activities I've ever seen. A free movie with popcorn? How can you pass that up? What do I like least? The long drive it takes to go home from an activity.
Glenn?
I too like our friends. I've always wanted to live in a place where our friends were in our neighborhood. And I was always trying to find one friend in my neighborhood. And now I have tons, and I can walk to my friend's house, and I love that. I love the quality of life that we have. This room is an example. We see great shows, and we have top-of-the-line lighting and sound, and we have great people that know how to run it. What I like least, that is a no-win question, and I'm not answering it.
Pat?
What I like most, you all. You make my life wonderful. 10 years I've been here. It's just an incredible, best 10 years of my life. Met my wonderful wife here on the courts, and my life's pretty darn good. What do I like least? I don't like being called dishonest. I don't like being called a cheater, a liar. Most recently, I was called an extortionist. Those are things I don't like. That's enough.
Bob?
All right. Hello. Things I like most. I like my friends. We have great friendships here. And if you want to call them cliques, then that's great. I mean, I don't care. They're cliques. I enjoy them. The more cliques, the better. I have cliques in all my clubs. I have cliques in everywhere. So I like cliques. So we're good. I like the facilities. I like the entertainment. Just everything that the colony provides, the amenities, I think is wonderful. And we're so happy we're here, have moved here. What I don't like, I do not like the name calling. I'm sorry, but it's just not appropriate. The names that are being bandied back and forth are criminals. You can't call someone a thief. You can't call someone an extortionist. You can't call someone a fraud. Those are criminal things. We are not criminals here. The board are decent people. So I just don't feel, that's what I don't like.
Okay, next question. What do you believe are the top 3 priorities facing the board in the next 12 months? Michael?
I think the top priority, of course, is to get this golf course situation resolved and to have enough money to bring the course back to what it once was. I think security and safety for our homeowners is very, very important, and I think financial wellness, and that's in operating and reserve funding.
Glenn?
I agree. The top one is the golf course. We have to acquire it. Once we acquire it, we can do a lot of good things with it, but we have to get it first, so that is the top one. In talking with people, I have talked to a few people about, and security is an issue. People, especially the people who live alone. I've talked to a lot of women who live alone, and they were telling me that security is a big issue for them. And I want you to know that if I'm on the board, it'll be a big issue for me, too, on your behalf. And then that restaurant, again, the people that I've talked to really want the restaurant.
Pat?
Well, certainly the golf course, obviously everybody knows that. Many of you know that we started looking at possibilities of redoing the patio project out here, a big project. So at least getting that started over the next year is a priority. Obviously, electing me would be a priority.
All right, priorities. I want the golf course to be resolved, but I look at the golf course, I want it to be green again. That's what I want. I want to see I just want it green again. I also want to have a grill. When we first came here, we thought we were going to have a grill to eat here three meals a day if we wanted to. Wrong. So anyway, I wish the grill would come back, and that's all part of the golf course to get that resolved. Financially, guys, we are financially strong. Now, no, we're not at the goals we want to be, but we are financially strong. I mentioned it. We got money in the bank. We're paying our bills. We can pay for things. So yes, we need to be the financial standards, but that is not a law. It's just something we want to do, and we'll get there. Safety, I think, is important. Also, long-range plan. I think we need to get a long-range plan developed here. Joanne Deacon was doing it. I don't think it's done much from this board. We need a long-range plan to get it there. So those are my priorities.
Pam?
That's a good question, because actually I listed my 3-month, 6-month, and 1-year priorities that are on my flyer so everybody can read those. The main priority, of course, is the golf course. Right now, we really don't know what we've got going here. The chances are we're going to acquire the golf course, but where's the land and business appraisals? Where's the cost estimate for the renovation? These are things we need to know now so that we can start planning for them. That is critical. I don't see where that has been done at all. Safety, absolutely. We need a fail-safe installed on every single gate here for power outages. That's something that is critical. That is something that Chief Malloy said is mandatory, although I think we are using the excuse that we're grandfathered so we don't have to do it. But what's more important, being grandfathered or safety of our residents? So, sorry, time's up, but there's a lot more I could say. Thank you.
Next question. In your time here at the colony, what have you done successfully to make the colony a better place to live? We'll start with Glenn.
Well, I've served on committees that I can get on. I've chaired the committees, and the committee that I'm on has some subcommittees that I work on. So there's a lot of things that go into keeping our colony safe. So access, safety, and control. So we're not just the gates. We're safety. So we meet with Stephen every month to see what's going on in the community. We find out all the issues that are happening with our residents, and we are proactive into making sure that everybody is safe. So for my committee, that is the big resource we have is to keep people safe.
Pat?
Well, as you know, I've been on the board for the last 3 years, and I think we've done a good job. So it's not fair to say that I've done it. I'm one of 7 people, many of them out here tonight. They all deserve the kudos for the hard work that they've done collectively, and I think we've just got one heck of a good team in place. So I think collectively we've done a good job to look around the auditorium. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's good. We've done some good things, and we're just trying day in and day out to do better for you guys. I mean, that's what you elect us to do, and we're trying to do that.
Bob?
All right. On the architectural committee, we have made this place look a lot better. I know some of you may not think that, but we looked at every one of these 1,586 houses, and we made decisions. And I believe we've had a lot of people tell us it is looking a lot better over the years now that we have done that. We're also developing, you don't like rules either, but we're trying to clarify things so people know what is expected of them. And that's why you'll see we had a bunch of rules come out in the board meeting this time, but we're just trying to clarify things and getting that done. All right, on landscape, we are trying to beautify the landscape here. We are doing turf renovation. Unfortunately, we have to take the grass away because they're not letting us water it enough, and you don't want brown grass. So we're trying to turf renovate to get more plants there and save water. Access, I'm with Glenn. You know, I was on the subcommittee doing that, trying to make it safe here and for the land. Finance, well, we balance the books. So,
Pam.
Well, there have been several things that I have done, but I've done them privately because I did not seek accolades for doing it. Some of the things that I have, not from you, some of the things that I have done is I wanted to ensure that our Jewish friends and neighbors here felt that their faith was being respected. So I made sure that the menorah could be properly lit during the holidays since our auditorium is so beautifully decorated. I also made sure that the closed captioning was reactivated on the YouTube videos for those of us who might have a bit of a hearing issue. Again, a safety issue is that I had the white hot strobe light disconnected from the speed signs because that cause or could trigger seizures, migraines, and it could make drivers disoriented, which was a safety issue. So again, time's up, but there are other things that I have done to hopefully better the community.
Michael?
For the short time that I've been here, I've abided by the rules and the regulations. Also, being a good neighbor, working with Virginia to do a meet the street and invite the neighbors over so that we can understand them more. And I also was an actor in a play here called The Serpent Necklace. And I learned an awful lot from each of those types of things that I've done. I expect to do more the longer I live here.
Next question. What is one change or improvement that you would make that you believe would improve the quality of life for colony residents? Pat?
The one thing that I would change?
One change or improvement.
Well, the one change I'd like to see is the negativity and be cut to a minimum. Geez, if I could get rid of that, my job would be a heck of a lot easier. So, that's it.
Bob?
the improvement I would do is bring back the grill. I think that's a big amenity. Lifestyle, I don't want to travel outside here, and I just want to go down the grill, have a breakfast, bar, lunch and dinner. Not all of them at once, but anyway, that's the one thing I would do is get that grill back. So,
Pat? Correction, Pam?
Gosh. To bring back or to improve the quality of life, I don't know. I really don't. I think I would need to get input from all of you on what you would like to see. Because the demographic seems to be changing in here a little bit, so I think we need to be more fluid on what's going on. And I think when you talk about improving quality, you need the input of the community and not just your own opinion.
Michael?
The one thing that I would like to change or to improve would be more interactiveness, communication with our homeowners. I think we lack the communication with our homeowners to really understand what it is they would like to see. I want to make sure that I'm a visionary for them and that we set this community up to continue being the best ever. I love living here, and it's been a charming experience for the 2 years. And I want to improve whatever it is we can improve in communications.
Glenn?
I guess being on the Access and Control Committee, we need to, I would like to change that front gate, that main gate. People back up there. As I say, we had a subcommittee. We went to Canyon Lake. People go in and out of Canyon Lake fast as can be. Here, we have to stop, and even us with transponders, it's not fast. In Canyon Lake, their gate goes up, down, people are going. We have tons of permanent residents that are already vetted. Our sons and daughters and grandkids who come visit us, they're already vetted. Why can't they have a QR code and have a spot to come in the gate? It's just, in this, we're in the 21st century, but I think we're using 1990 technology, so that's a big one with me.
Okay. Next question. What is your position on enforcing the association's governing documents? Should the board be stricter, more forgiving, or is the current level of enforcement fair? Bob.
Association, okay. Yeah, the governing documents, okay. Well, you got 3 or 4 governing documents, so, you know, CC&Rs don't apply to the everyday thing. I guess it's the rules and regulations that apply to the homeowners. Those are the big things, and those are the ones where you get your violations. I think that looking at first offenders, things of that nature, new residents, you gotta give leeway to those things, and don't find them right away. Now, of course, the violations is now the state has passed a law where we're going to be restricted how much we can charge violations. So this whole thing may change. But the governing documents, I think they're being enforced correctly. I wouldn't see doing more or less. Well, I'd do a little less in that, you know, maybe be a little more lenient with first offenders, people who are brand new here, things of that nature. So, but those are the, you know, again, CC&Rs, we don't deal with them much. Bylaws just tell us how to govern. It's mostly the rules and regulations that we can be a little more lenient on.
Pam.
Okay, like Bob said, there are 3 sets. Bylaws are the bylaws. CC&Rs are woefully out of date. There have been new laws that were passed. I mean, the CC&Rs haven't really been amended since 2016, other than to add Article 20. And they are way out of date to the detriment of our community. As far as the rules and regulations go, yeah, I think we're starting to get a little excessive on that. Rules and regulations should only be reviewed once, maximum twice a year. Otherwise, we are just, you know, taking a match to dollars because the attorneys have to review everything that we're doing, and it seems like we're doing something on a monthly basis. I think for the most part, the rules are very fair, and I think that they are enforced equally. However, there are some issues where equality has not been the case.
Michael?
My position would be education. I think that our homeowners need to understand more of what the CCRs are and what the rules and regulations are. And being especially to our new homeowners, how can we educate them to get involved and understand the rules and regulations and the CCRs, the bylaws, all the different government documents, governing documents we have. I have taken a deep dive recently, basically because I'm looking to be a board position, and I understand them more than I did when I first moved in. So I would want to give education to our residents and to our homeowners on all of these governing documents.
Glenn.
Well, they are our governing documents, and then they need to be enforced because that's what we live by. Those are rules. If we have to pick and choose, then it's going to be chaos. If they're out of date, then we need to change them. But if they're the rule, we have to enforce it. However, I'm for leniency for new members and first-time offenders. sometimes you don't know because there are many rules. So if it's your first time and you're sincerely trying to cooperate, I think you should get some leniency. But to say we decide which ones to enforce and which ones not to enforce, again, that'd be chaos. And we need to change them. If they're not good, we change them.
Pat.
We enforce our rules and regulations equitably among all of our residents. And I happen to disagree with Glenn on some points as far as being lenient. First-time offenders, if you're speeding and doing 35 miles an hour through the community, you pose a serious safety hazard. If you're running stop signs, I don't see any reason to be lenient. People running stop signs. First-time gate offenders, they come and view a video, they do get a waive. Pam says the rules are being done fairly, although she said Greg, Ross, and Chuck are getting favorable treatment. That doesn't sound fair, Pam.
Okay. Next question. This is a two-part question.
Again.
What are your feelings about the amount of the current monthly assessment? If you feel that it is too high, what specific cuts would you suggest to possibly lower the monthly assessment? Keep in mind that it takes a cut of $19,000 to lower dues by $1. Pam.
Okay, I cannot give you an intelligent answer to that question because I would need to review all the contracts and what is the expectation that the contract requires and what is not. I think that any contract in here that is an evergreen contract should be immediately put out to bid. Because for those of you who don't know, an evergreen contract is one that automatically renews. And I wonder how many years it's been since we've put some of these contracts out for bid. So I can't give you an intelligent answer to that because I don't have the data to work off of.
Okay. Michael?
I believe that our HOA dues on a monthly basis are pretty darn good. I would hate to see them go up because of special assessments or any other of that activity based upon new projects. But I think when we look at what our HOA dues are compared to what I'm used to and what I've thought in the past was very high, it was in the $600 to $700, $800 category. So I think at the amount that we pay each month, we have a very good price point.
Glenn.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. I think our assessments are fair, but I don't know, I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know how they were developed, so I can't say if they're too high or too low, because the Finance Committee spends hours putting that together, days, weeks, months, and so I don't know that all they go through. I trust them that they did that right. I don't mind increasing the monthly fee a little bit if it's going to alleviate an assessment, because I know that we could have had an assessment, but we didn't, because we did increase the dues a little bit, the monthly dues. So again, there's so much that goes into this. To say it's good or bad, I trust the people that are doing it, and if I'm on the board, then I'll have more input as to if they're doing it right or wrong, but so far I'm happy with it.
Pat?
Well, nobody wants to raise dues, but the sad reality is we live in California. Bob and his committee, and on the committee we have CPAs. Chuck's committee, yeah. The Finance Committee. They work endless hours getting that put together and make a recommendation to the board. They're experts in that field. we have incredible talent on that committee. And Chuck was an auditor in the motion picture industry. We've got CPAs working on that. It's being reviewed by our corporate people. But it would be irresponsible to say, I don't want to raise the fees. I mean, I can't raise the fees. I won't raise the fees. They're going to go up. And it would be irresponsible not to at least keep up with the cost of inflation. So unfortunately, I have to pay it too.
Bob,
Repeat that one more time.
what are your feelings about the amount of the current monthly assessment?
All right.
If you feel that it is too high, what specific cuts would you suggest to possibly lower the monthly assessment? Keep in mind that it takes a cut of $19,000 to lower dues by $1.
Okay, just let me say, when we moved here, we left an HOA in Myrtle Beach. Our monthly assessment was $530. I just checked it because I wanted, in case the question was asked. When we came here, it was $237. So we had a $300 cut. So we were very happy here. All right, now getting to the assessment, I'm very happy with the assessment because we worked, like I said, very hard on it. But I feel it's fair, knowing what I know. You know, I have more knowledge than Pam does because I see the numbers and understand them. I feel they're very good assessment. I feel it's very fair. Could we cut something? Well, a lot depends on what happens at the golf course. You never know. Also, things could change with our vendors and that. We do have a contract coming up for renewal this year, so there are some issues that could change that. But I think you got a very good rate from what we could see, what we put into it, and the work we put into it. It was a fair amount. Thank you.
Okay, next question. If you are elected, how do you plan to work collaboratively with the other 6 board members? Michael.
I think collaboration has been part of my whole life in the workplace and also in the volunteering here in the city of Murrieta. You have to really understand everyone's thought process. You have to get a collective thought on everyone and how they are thinking. And then also, you have to be a free thinker to understand collectively how you can direct the conversation to what's needed for the improvement that you're looking for. Collaboration is something that I've been doing all my life, and in many different states that I've worked in many different areas. So I am for collaboration as long as it's not a rubber stamp.
Glenn.
Yes, I'm kind of like Michael. I've been doing this forever. As I said in my opening statement, I lived in a foreign country with people from 52 countries with different cultures and religions and angry with each other and different politics. And I built a school that it was fun. It was a loving place. So it can be done. And so I think it might be a little easier here to collaborate with this board than it will with people from 52 different countries. So I think I can do well. And while I have 30 seconds left, I just want to tell Pat, I don't want people running stop signs or speeding either. I meant more like parking on the street or a golf cart or keeping the garage door open. But the safety things, I agree with you.
Pat.
Well, I guess I have an advantage over everybody else since I've been collaborating with the board for the last 3 years. It's an easy group to work with. We don't always agree on things. We hash things out. And at the end of the day, we come to a decision. Once we reach that decision, that's the decision of the board, and we unanimously support that. So it's not rocket science. It's just working together as a team. And I think we've done a good job. We've got a great team. And I think continuity is pretty darn important right now as we're trying to transition the golf course and deal with those issues.
Bob.
say it again, collaboratively, is that what collaboratively?
Easy enough for you to say.
I know. No. You got to know, for me to work with somebody, I have to know them. And I think I know the board somewhat, but I don't know they're really close. So I would need to just understand them. Like I said, I like to listen to what they do, how they present themselves, and then be able to adjust. I learned to adjust working for physicians. I had 120 of them I had to keep happy. That's not easy. So I learned how to deal with each one of them, and I think just to work collaboratively, I would learn their skills, their skill set, their strong points, how they act in that, and just from that point, work with them. So I'm easy to work with. I'm an easy guy. So anyway, that's how I would do it.
Pam?
First and foremost, you have to keep in mind what's best for the community. And hopefully everybody that is on the board will have that same feeling. I don't deal in broad statements. I deal in specifics. So to work with people, I would have specific information that can be documented, and that would support my position. I have no problem with working with someone who has information that documents their position, even though it conflicts with mine. If there is a better way, then the better way should be taken.
Okay. Next question. Do you believe that the board should put more of the association's contracts out to competitive bid? If so, why? If not, why? Glenn?
Okay. Well, I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I don't know if they are or not. I don't really know what goes on. Of course, you would want competitive bids, and you wouldn't be against them, but there's a lot more to it that goes into a competitive bid. It's the quality of the company that you're bidding. You might not take the lowest bid. So I don't think that they should, as Pam said, the evergreen for 3 or 4 times. But if you have to renegotiate every time, you're going to spend a lot of time and resources that you don't need if you're happy with the company and they are doing the work that you want them to do. So again, I'm at a disadvantage because I don't know what the board does exactly. So it would be foolish to say, no, I don't want competitive bids, because I do, but the board has to make the decision as how they operate those competitive bids.
Pat?
Contracts go out for a competitive bid routinely when we're looking, as an example, and for those of you who haven't looked in the gym today, you'll see all brand new equipment in there. So we did go out for bid on that, and those are the kinds of things we do. Security, they go out for bid. That's how we came up with these guys. Environmental Concepts is here because of the bidding process. So that does happen routinely. But as Glenn pointed out, it's expensive to go out to bid. And in the case of our management company, I think everybody is extremely happy with the job they're doing, and we think it's a fair price. So we go out for bid on those contracts when we think it's appropriate.
Bob?
Okay, the small contracts, yes, go out for bid because you have a lot of vendors out there. So I don't have a problem with that. The bigger contracts, I think, in understanding some of what goes on, it is difficult to get bigger, larger companies continually bidding on them every time. They'll just say, forget it, you didn't pick me this time, I'm not going to waste all my time to go out and get a big bid. I like to start the way we do it. I think we do it in landscape with EC. If there are issues, we'll discuss it with them and say, or Anthony will, and say, you need to improve on these areas. And that way, when they do that, they listen to you, and they're then telling you that, yes, we understand, and we will, we'll work with you in that. So I think the issue, though, of the other contracts is that they're too big, and people will not want to bid with us, because if we keep doing it, they'll say, forget it. It's easier just to, not bid with you, because you probably won't get it. So.
Pam.
Okay, let's be clear. The board has the ability and the authority to sign contracts for a duration of 3 years. In 3 years' time, I think that it is fiscally responsible to pulse the industry to see if the bids are still competitive for the services that are being rendered, number one. Number two, if you see a red flag, it's time to pay attention to that. One of the red flags that I see is that, for example, 1 year the CPI rose at 4%, our dues rose at 18%. That is a red flag to me, and I think that that's where we need to look into things. Is it time to put some things out to bid? Are we getting maximum services for every dollar spent? Because every dollar spent is a dollar out of each homeowner's pocket.
Michael?
All of my life, I have been involved in contracts and bidding, and we've always sent them out to bid. I am not in favor of automatic renewals without a communication of performance by the vendor that is looking for an automatic renewal. I think that we need to be responsible and make sure that we are getting the best price for the services we're providing. And by best price, I'm not saying the lowest price, but the quality of the performance that they plan on giving our HOA.
Next question. The colony represents a wide generational spectrum within its demographic. If elected, how will you address the needs of the younger 55s moving into the community while upholding the long-standing lifestyle of our long-term residents? Pat.
Well, and I've said this before, that somebody 79 should not be laying out a plan for those that are 55. Their needs, desires, their interests are a whole lot different than mine. When Walt was president years ago, he put together a group of us to do long-term planning for that very scenario. And I told him at the time, you shouldn't be picking us to do that. We need to incorporate the younger people moving in here. That's not easy. The young people moving in here are working and they're tied to their computers and their phones. It's hard to get them involved. Those are the people that should be guiding us in terms of long-term planning.
Bob.
Well, first of all, you need to start with the orientation for new residents. I think that needs to be revamped. I was sitting in here during that, and don't want to criticize anything, but it's so dry, but that's the topic, so we have to spice that up. Also, you need to get involved. When I first came here, there was a function, and I went, and the golf club had a little booth, and I think the EPC had a little booth. And so I became a block captain, and I joined the golf club, because it was some function, but all the clubs were there. It's just not the HOA things. The clubs are there. I think we need to get people to understand the clubs, and also the governments, which is the HOA committees and that. So maybe special things with just those things they can come to, understand them, talk to them, but definitely get them involved. And I want to have a survey. Let's talk to the young. What do you want? Tell us what you want. Like I said, I'm 78. I don't want to, tell a 55-year-old what they want. So. Thank you. I'm done.
Pam.
Well, first off, that's a great question. But it requires there to be an engagement of the entire community. So I think that there needs to be a poll. We need to get different age groups are going to have different answers to this question. So we need to find a way that we can satisfy the majority of people here and not let others feel like they're being left out. So in order to do that, you need to engage the entire community. You need to get people that represent each age deal. And why don't we have community polls on certain things? Why do we sit as residents and are constantly being dictated to instead of being engaged and asking for our opinion? Because that's how you build a vibrant, robust community, is when everybody feels like they have a stake in it.
Michael?
In my past life, I have worked under the presumption that I have 4 different generations reporting to me. I think that you have to sit down, educate, and listen to what the needs are. I agree that we should be surveying our different generations to understand what do they specifically want the colony to be for them. And to understand it, can we provide it? If not, we need to tell them why we can't provide it. But I do believe that it is an issue going forward that has to be a long-term strategy of how we're going to respond to all the different generations here in the colony.
Glenn?
Yes, I think we need to start communicating with the younger people like they want to be communicated with. The younger ones, they don't take phone calls anymore. They just do texts, and they probably do something that I don't even know about. But we also don't want to leave the other people behind. But there's a fine line of developing, like the front gate. The 50-year-plus people, they want to send a QR code to their friend, have their friend come in their gate. They don't want to wait around and ask for their address or have them call them up. They want it done. They want it in. So I'm for that, but we also cannot forget the people that are used to calling up the front gate and said, I'm going to have the plumber coming in. Eventually, that will go away. But so right now, we're at a time where we have to make sure we keep both groups and the middle groups. I'm a middle group, I would say, because I know some technology, but I don't know enough. So we can't, it's a gradual process that will happen.
Okay, next question. Many members say that the community is divided and afflicted with dissension. If elected, what efforts would you personally make to unify the community? Bob?
Oh, God. I would go out. First, we have to identify the two, I don't know what do you want to call them, the two opposing groups. See what their issues are, and just like, I guess, the old conflict management or you know, I call it more disagreements, just start that process. Get the facts. Well, first of all, do they want to, that's the whole thing, do they want to resolve their issues? You got to find that out. And at this point, I don't know if people want to resolve the issues because they're so set in their ways, they're just conflict, they're calling people names, and it's just, you know, it's just rampant there. But you need to get the 2 points together, and probably you need a third party. I don't know if I could, you know, handle that. I mean, I think I'm pretty open-minded, but I think just for the sake of them seeing that there's a third party there, you need that so they could at least trust that person to try and resolve their issues.
Pam?
Well, first, I would like to know what issues are had on both sides. And then, again, instead of dealing in broad statements, let's start dealing in specifics. If somebody doesn't like something, what is it exactly that they don't like? And then go from there. Okay, these broad statements are causing nothing but divisive attitudes.
and nothing is getting solved other than attacking people. And come on, we should all be beyond that. If elected, I believe that everything should be put in the rearview mirror. Let's start fresh. What is your issue? And be specific. How can we specifically address that issue, and how can we come together on that issue? And Bob is right. You have to have the want on both sides.
Michael.
First of all, I would like to find out what the division is that they're communicating. I need to talk to them. I need to listen to why they feel that there is a division in this community. This community is a great community. It's a community we all want to live in. We all want to make sure that our property values are the right way. And I think that it can be an understanding of what is that division that they're thinking there is, and address it. Address it with them to learn and to speak to the people that may be causing the division.
Glenn.
I don't think there is a division. I think there's a small group of noisy people that are getting way too much attention. That's it.
Pat.
Well, Pam talks about making broad statements, and she has for the last 6 years, accusing us of being dishonest, hiding things, not being transparent, the financials not being reported correctly. That's a broad statement. She's yet to say what our end goal is. Why are we hiding all this money? What are we doing with the money? I mean, you can't fix people who don't want to be fixed. And she's fixated on constantly going after the boards. Not just this one, every single board since she's been here. Every board, no exception. So you can't fix that.
Okay. The last question.
Hey.
Come on, we're just getting started.
Why should the members cast their vote for you? Pam?
Well, I would appreciate people casting their vote for me because hopefully they can see that I have been honest and that I am trustworthy. And unlike what is being said, I have produced documentation for everything that I say. I just don't recklessly say things that I can't prove or substantiate. Also, I have a plan, a 3-month, a 6-month, and a 1-year plan that I think that would, if you read it, hopefully you will find that it does benefit the community. Again, I don't make broad statements, and I don't stoop to pettiness. What I do is give you facts so that you can decide what you want to believe or not believe. And I welcome anyone that comes to me that can show me where I might be wrong, because that only makes me a better person, because that only makes me give more accurate information.
Michael?
I believe that a vote for me would give you someone who has integrity, honesty, and no personal agenda. I am here to help our homeowners improve their value and to listen to what the needs are so that I can communicate them to my other 6 board members to get some kind of unity between us. All in favor of our homeowners. I am definitely a person who wants to improve quality of life. I have a long life. I guess I'm the youngest one up here from the point of living here. So I have to impress that. Anyhow, thank you.
Glenn?
I want you to know that I will be accessible to all of you, as I said. I've been on boards. That's the way I've made my living. I know how they work. I don't get caught up in the weeds. I don't get caught up in the little arguments. Feelings are important, but sometimes they're not important on a board. You need to get things done. You don't expect us to fight. You expect us to get things done. I'm used to doing that, and that's what I will do if I'm a board member.
Pat?
Well, again, I just want to thank you for the honor of representing you for the last 3 years. I think I've done a good job. Am I perfect? Oh, boy, far from it. But I work hard at trying to make right decisions and doing the right thing. I'm actually not a liar. I'm not a cheater. I'm not dishonest. I'm not an extortionist. I'm just one of you guys trying to get by and do the best job I possibly can. So I would appreciate your vote and support, and I'll continue to do the work I think needs to be done here in the community to make this a better community. So thanks again for your support.
Bob?
Okay, I think I've demonstrated over the past 8 years that I'm committed to this community from all the work I've done in there at the time. I know my wife thinks I'm overcommitted to this community, but anyway, and I am committed, and I think I've demonstrated it. I just want to continue that commitment at a different level now. And I'm a good guy. Hey, you know, hey. I'm always laughing. I don't know why, but I'm always laughing. So, no, but I just think that, you know, I've demonstrated my commitment, and I would appreciate, and I'd be honored to join this group. The only reason I'm running is because Dave and Mac and Dave and the other guy, what's the guy? Bruce, Aldefonso, are not running. Don't tell them that, Lori. No, that they're not running because I don't like to run against incumbents. They're good. All the boards have been great. But there are 2 open positions now, and I want to fill one of them, and that's what I'm doing.
At this time, I want to thank all of the candidates. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Jim Morgan. Thank you.
One correction I want to make from earlier. You don't need a stamp. It's a postage paid, so I apologize for that misstatement. But I do want to thank Michael Nunez for the great job he did moderating. Most of all, our candidates for getting grilled up here. So thank you for being here, then have a great evening.